Hello everyone, it's Diane and I'm here to share a baby girl journal with you today. As I mentioned in a previous video where I showed the making of the baby boy journal cover, I am on the design team for Studio 28E and I will leave a link below. And I got the baby girl journal kit and the add-on to make this journal with. So I'm going to go through it and point out to you the pieces that came from Studio 28E. And also I used images from very vintage magazines that had images of babies and baby products. So that was fun to get to use them. And I used a lot of vintage wrapping paper also. You know, I like to use vintage items in my junk journals. So I did talk about how I made this cover in the video that I made yesterday, where I made the cover of the baby boy journal. I showed this cover and also talked about how I made it. This is a pillow sham, I believe. I picked it up at the thrift store. It had a Pottery Barn for Kids label on it. So it's a really nice quality pillow sham, but it's quilted. So it has batting and there was a layer of cotton underneath. So it's a 3-layer quilt. And so that's what I used for the cover, and but I put it on chipboard, so it's a hard cover, not a soft cover. So as I said in the other video, I used the binding that was on the pillow sham around the top and the front edge, and then to cover up the raw edge where I had cut it, I used some eyelet and some gingham ribbon, which kind of just blends right in with this, because look right there, patchwork, and then the ribbon, they look alike. And then I used some pink seam binding and wrapped it around and glued it on that edge. As you can see, I sewed or put some buttons on the spine, which I think are really cute. And it's 3 signatures. There's a vintage doily here, and another one in the center, and this little button. I cut the shank off of it and just glued it on there. So inside, it's just covered with some paper, and this is from a chenille bedspread that I got from Selena at Amour Fabriques. I love that. And then I made this tag. It's a shipping tag, a large size one, and I covered it with scraps of paper, and this is vintage wrapping paper up here, and just a little image, a printable image there, and some fibers as a topper. And then here's one of the vintage magazine ads for easy underwear for infants. Look at that, so cute. So I stitched that to, well, just glued it to a piece of scrapbook paper and added this little black and white piece comes from the Studio 28E kit. And then I stitched a strip of the gingham ribbon down the center of it. This is also from the kit, this little image here, and there's just a little piece of lace. Here is a vintage baby card. Diapers, bottles, booties too, now the fun begins for you. And it's got a little piece of terry cloth on here for the nurse's towel. It's very cute, and it opens up. Actually, I guess it doesn't, because the towel would pull through the hole if you opened it up. Looks like it came out of a scrapbook because it's torn where the glue was. And then there's a piece of eyelet stitched on the front there. I didn't copy dye anything in this book because I imagine it will have a lot of photos in it, so I did do some spraying and some stenciling. I did have some cut aparts from a couple of different scrapbook lines. So this is one of the cut aparts. It says Precious. This is from the kit. It says Our Sweet Baby Girl. And I stenciled on this side. This ticket is also from the kit. There's a strip of tickets. And by the way, there is also a baby boy kit. I used some pink copy paper, as you can see, and I had this adorable little baby stamp that I just stamped like it's just tumbling down the page. I like this page from the kit. It has places for you to fill in information the name, the date, the weight, and the parents' names and siblings. And this is a little quote that came with this baby stamp, which, by the way, is a Stampin' Up! Set that's old and discontinued. A baby is cuddles and tickles on toes, the sweet scent of powder, a kiss on the nose. I love that. And this is just sprayed here. Scrapbook paper here with, this is textured cardstock. You see that? And then I just rubbed a little bit of Distress ink over it to make the texture show up more. This is vintage wrapping paper, and this little mouse and her baby is cut from wrapping paper. And then these little buttons came with the kit. This is a card that I've had for a long time, and you can record the baby's weight and height. Just mark it on a graph. I thought that was cute. And this is from the scrapbook cut apart. Also has a place for the information. There's probably repeat stuff in here from all the different items that I had to put in. And this is from a very long magazine, as you can see. This is a long piece. I didn't even measure it. But it's about Ralston wheat food for children. And I just glued it to some lined paper so you can write on it. And decorated it with a little bit of washi. This is from the kit. Beautiful lined paper with this little vintage baby carriage on it. Some stenciling here, some stamping here on some pink lined paper. This ticket is from the kit, and I backed it with some of my fuzzy trim. This is in my shop. It's pink fuzzy trim, and it's very, very soft. I love this lined paper from the kit. It's got this little vintage design in the corner of a little bird and a rattle, and a dolly in that corner. So sweet and cute. Some stamping. Bath time, so this would be a good place to put a picture of baby in the bath. I sprayed through a stencil on this one. There's some lined paper here from the kit. And this came from a really old calendar. Your baby's diary and calendar. So there weren't a lot of pictures in here, but it does have a lot of information and a place to record the baby's weight and how much it gained over the last month, and just some hints on how to take care of your baby, things like that. But it did have a couple of pictures, so I love this one. And I put a little pink bow on her hair. And some hearts in the center. And because the picture cracked when I folded it, I just stitched down the center some of that cotton binding fabric. And I glued this on and with a little stamp so you can journal on that. More journaling lines from the kit. This is from the kit also, with these buttons printed right on there. I love this one too, with the little lamb. These are the kinds of things you would see decaled to cribs and high chairs and things back in the 50s or even 40s maybe. And I glued this little strip from one of the cut apart pages from the scrapbook paper. It's actually cardstock. I just glued that on as a little tuck, but then this brown envelope is glued on too. And then these little cards came from the same cut apart, and I added some baker's twine, and I tucked 3 of the tags in the envelope, and one little tag goes there. These little brown envelopes are in my shop. I will link my shop below because this journal will be available in my shop also. I love those little tumbling babies. It's so cute, and that's from the kit. This is actually from Christy Art Designs, this little circle right there. There's some lace stitched to this page. This is a vintage embroidered piece, and I stitched it to some cardstock and then glued it on as a belly band. And this little tag is from the kit, and it's stitched to cardstock and a little bow on the top there. And then I glued this circle partway on. The bottom half is glued so that it can stop the tag so it doesn't fall out. I love this little stamped image. This is another old Stampin' Up! Kit. Look at that gorgeous baby. And a place for notes. That diaper pin, I believe, came with the kit that has the tumbling baby. Here's another piece of chenille and some beautiful vintage grosgrain ribbon. I love that. Came in a sealed package, and it was still had the cellophane on it, but it is vintage. And then this beautiful piece of fabric underneath. So it's a flip, and you can write under it or glue pictures down. Lots of room for putting pictures in here or for writing. You could put a picture right here behind these tags. This is a little text spot that I made out of a circle punched with that textured paper. This is a little vintage baby gift tag. It's adorable. And this tag says first giggle, and then you can write the date there. And here's another image from a vintage magazine. So sweet, and there's pink lined paper on the back. This is from the kit. Pink lined paper on the back. And this says, holds her head up on her own, and a place for the date. So these two are also from a cut apart sheet. Not part of the kit. But this is, it says my favorite people. So you could make a list of the people that the baby favors and maybe even tuck some photos of the baby with those people in this pocket. There's this beautiful lace that I got from Hobby Lobby, and then some more journaling cards. Adorable firsts, so you can record the first smile, claps, waves bye-bye, plays peekaboo, etc. And then this one is rolls over front to back and back to front, which is really cute. I took a scrap of the pillow sham that I made the cover out of and put that on as a pocket with a little bit of eyelet stitched to the top. That little image is from the kit. This is from a vintage magazine. And inside is a vintage baby postcard congratulating on the birth of the baby. So that's in there. Slept through the night, and a place for the date. This is from the kit. It says special moments, and it's an envelope, and I put a piece of index card that I dyed with food coloring in there. And first steps. This is some eyelet that came to me from Germany. Piro sent that to me, and she dyed it with currants. So I want you to know that that came from Germany, and it was dyed with currants. I think that's cool. A piece of vintage gift wrap there, a page from the kit, and also this ticket is from the kit. Adorable baby in a wicker basket. I love that stamp of little baby footprints. There's another beautiful image from the kit. And there's polka dots here, but it's very light, so you can write on that page. Some more of the this is eyelash trim, and this is also available in my shop. This page says photos, so these are photo mat pages. There's another piece of that. I think that's a piece of the currant dyed eyelet. A little piece of pink fringe, and a piece of that textured cardstock. This is from the kit, and the button is from the kit. And this adorable teddy bear is from vintage wrapping paper. Oh, I knew there was one more thing I needed to back. This is underwear for infants. It's the same brand as that other one that I put in here, but I need to back it with something. And then this says first haircut. Has a place for a photo. I think there's a page in here for first haircut, and I put a little vellum pocket on it. Have to see. This is that Tim Holtz stitch slots die, so you can take all of these things out. This is actually from an old book. First steps, it says. And you can write on it. Well, it does go in there. And this says first fruit and what it was and the date. This is just cut from an old, I think maybe K & Company baby paper. Not sure. There. First fruit, this little baby carriage, this little Graphic 45 stamp that I've had for a very, very, very long time. And this is cut from one of the cut apart pages. It says smiling. And this, there's a bunch of words that come with the kit. So I cut this one out. It says love and stuck it on there. And this is just from one of the cut apart scrapbook papers. This is from the kit. Look at that beautiful image of the baby. It's so pretty. And this is from an old knitting book. So in the first signature, there was the calendar page. In this signature, there's a knitting book page. And this I cut from one of the pages in the kit and added this tag that I stamped. Out of the mouths of babes. So you can write down what they said when they start talking. Beautiful, beautiful pale pink embroidered trim here. I love this. And it's vintage. And then I added this vintage lace here. And this came with the cut apart page. You can cut these apart and put them where you want. There's another one that says first haircut. So, and then you can write what you want in the blank ones. So these are meant to be taken out and cut apart and inserted where you want them. This is from the kit. You fold this over and glue it together and you get this. She's precious. Also, the cards and things that are stuck in pockets are meant to be moved around. I don't know where you want first steps or first haircut or any of those things. So you take them out of the pockets and move them to where you want them. This is from the kit. This one says first word. This one you can't move because I actually glued it on as a tuck spot. This is from a vintage magazine. It's Heinz Baby Foods. Back in when they were in little cans instead of jars. Excuse me. Vintage wrapping paper. I just think this is gorgeous. And some pink lace, which is also vintage. And this beautiful pink satin bow. There's that baby again. He's sitting still now. This is a beautiful, soft, vintage lace. I love this. Kind of a ruffle. And then this is from one of the knitting magazines, and I glued her to some cardstock and cut her out and glued her on as a tuck spot. There's one of the Kane Company images. This tag is from the kit. It says cuteness. I sewed a piece of gingham ribbon to the top of it and glued it to cardstock. This is from a vintage magazine. The Only Snap-On Baby Pants. And then this is just a vintage children's playing card. Playtime, this one says. This would be a good place for a picture of the baby playing with its toys. Of her toys. This is a girl's book. Another diaper pin from Stampin' Up. Another piece of chenille and some of that paper doll fabric. And some pretty rosettes here. And, oh, I have to put something in there. There was something in there. I wonder what happened to it. Probably got stuck in another pocket. But this is a little tuck spot created with images from Vintage Magazine, which is glued to cardstock. And this little piece that I had made. I put several images together. And then this is just some mulberry paper there. My favorite things, this is from the kit. The textured paper and a circle cut out, punched out of the vintage wrapping paper. And then this is also from the kit. It says, I did what today? So who knows what you're going to write on that? Who knows what your baby is going to get up to? I put crystal effects on some of these little squares that I had. This one, I gave it a top tuck, which I don't usually like to do because I want my things to be secure. But there was an image down here. So I gave this one a top tuck. And there's a ticket from the kit, image from a magazine, and a piece of lace. This is also from a magazine. Again, the easy underwear for infants. And I just stitched a little eyelet to it, tucked it up here. You can write on the back. I tucked it up here and then secured it with a pink paper clip. If I can get it back on there. Okay, and this beautiful pink and white lace is from Hobby Lobby. This is a vintage, oops, I missed a page. That's a beautiful image from the kit. Baby in her christening gown. And this is a vintage baby gift tag. More tumbling babies. This says Quaint Thoughts in the corner there. It's from the kit. There's a ticket with some white eyelash trim, which is also in my shop. This says photographs. There's a piece of scrapbook paper with vintage gift wrap, and there's another little piece cut from the vintage gift wrap, and a button cut from the kit. Here's some more cut aparts that you can move around where you want. And this came with one of the cut apart sheets, What I Want for You. And then this Mama and Baby is from an old magazine, and I glued it to some pink paper. And yes, babies cry. This is from an old costume book, American Costume or Fashion, and it had the baby clothes on this page. So I put that in. This image here is from the kit, and I added a little bow. And this one says First Tooth. And another, I have to put a topper on that, Out of the Mouths of Babes. Is that the same one I used? If that's the same stamp I used on the other tag, I'll put a different one in here. Bedtime Stories. There's that little baby sleeping on the moon again. There's some very nice vintage images on this in this kit. Baby Girl, and this is stretch lace, and I glued it or stitched it to this cardstock that I border punched. I love the little footprints. And this tag is from the kit, and I just put it in there, use that for the stopper. Some vintage eyelet here. And this came from the kit. I said what today? And then this is vintage ad Playtex baby pants. This is a vintage baby card. I know my video is going quite long here. Congratulations to the happy family, and under here it says good health, joy to all of you, and happiness. And here's the inside. Very, very pretty. And you can open it up and write in there if you want to. And I just have it paper clipped. It was too big to put in any of the pockets, but it does fit on the edge of the page like that. Feeding Time up there, that's from the kit. Some more chenille and trim and feed sack fabric right there. There's a little frame. First haircut, there it is, and then there's a little vellum envelope for a lock of hair. And then another vintage baby card with a bunny on it. This is another ticket from the kit, and I glued it to a piece of dyed index card, and I used my ticket punch to punch the corners. There's lots of room to grow in here. It's not stuffed full because I figured the person who bought this would fill it with photos or give it as a gift to someone who will fill it with photos. There's also with it a bag, this pretty white bag of goodies. Now I said that there were words that came with the kit, so I included all of the words, and some of them I glued to these little punched out labels so they can be added to the kit or to the journal wherever you want. And also these words. This little Christmas, Baby's First Christmas book, or little little sheet here comes with the kit, and I made a little booklet out of it. I'm not sure if this came with the kit or with a different. I think this might be Christy Art Designs, but it says it's a girl. First sippy cup, my first birthday. This came with the kit. Said Daddy, said Mommy, and first cereal. So these can be just used throughout the book as desired. So I'm sorry the video went so long. This will be in my shop, and I will link Sherry's shop, Studio 28E, also below. All right, thank you so much for watching. I will be back with another baby journal, on this one for a boy. Bye-bye.